3, 2, and 1, connecting. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to read the blurb. Okay. As Malaysia enters its 65th year of independence, what changes lie ahead for our beloved country? And more importantly, who are the individuals with the drive, with the vision, with the big name, tenacity, to bring about this change? This guy, okay, I love that. Okay, and at the heart of it, do we even want to change as Malaysians? Welcome to the first ever episode of and the Kopi Chat. This was just decided 5 seconds ago. Kopi Chat. Welcome. And welcome also to our first guest of the first show, Mr. Ezra Jalin. I mean, imagine him like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
For a bit, but
As you can tell, this is very, very random. And I'm just meeting with some friends from Malaysia. I'm not in Malaysia now, I'm UK. But I have some friends in Malaysia who are crazy enough to join me on Zoom this coming week to talk about, talk about random things about Malaysia, about Malaysians, and everything in between. Yeah. Hello, Ezra. Hello. Hey, thanks for joining me, brother.
hey, no worries. I'm just enjoying a cigar while having a good chat. Well, it's a it's a laid back kind of thing. But yes, thank you for having me on the chat, and thank you for whoever's listening to it. So yes.
Do you ever have reactions with you pulling out a cigar with churchgoers?
So far, yes and no. If I hang out with say a group of reformed Christians, they don't mind.
Okay.
I mean, Charles Spurgeon was a smoker. He smoked cigars to the glory of God.
I forgot. You're right. Yeah.
A lot of theologians smoke. Pipes, cigars, and they lived long up until 97, 98. None of them died on lung cancers. Praise God.
Oh wow, Charles Spurgeon. So you're not only a Christian, but you believe in Reformed. Was it Reformed Christians, Reformed theology? What is the difference? I mean, to someone who's never even heard that word Reformed before, what kind of animal is that?
A reformed Christian is basically someone who's always reforming, who's been reformed in terms of theology, in terms of ideology, in terms of their life principles and how they view things. And so in other sense, you're not stagnant, but you're constantly growing and you're a work in progress. Not to be confused with being progressive. Progressive is somebody who changes over and over, like you're basically a person over and over again. But for a reformed Christian, you are, as much as you're open, yet you are firm in certain tenets and certain principles, and that's how I would define a reformed Christian.
So you've described what it means for a Christian to be reformed. What does it mean? I'm trying to steer things back to, we're talking about change, talking about Malaysia. But can we imagine what it would be like to meet a reformed Malaysian? What does it mean for Malaysians? And Malaysia, you said it's not just things are progressing, not just things are changing, but is there such thing as a Malaysian being reformed and being almost thinkingly changing themselves towards an ideal that would be better than what we are now?
Well, there are many things that needed to be changed. I think as time goes by, certain policies, certain views of things requires change because people change. There's always this sociological idea whereby coming in new generation, they would have a better perspective of things because they've seen enough and they want more. I think as a reformed Malaysian, they should be open to changes. They should be open to new things, new development, permitting that you still have a constitution, you still have your principles, the Rukun Negara, and as long as it doesn't defeat that, still find to do something different or to see
Aha.
things differently. Yes.
So what I'm hearing is a kind of grounded change. You mentioned the Rukun Nagara, their principles, and they're Malaysians.
Mm.
But the kind of change that they want is maybe not just changing away from it, but changing in a way that maybe, would you say, even reflects it, the core values even more, that actually you're becoming maybe even more Malaysian, or the kind of change that that you're kind of like that you're seeing. You mentioned the new generation that is able to look back on the old, is able to see what areas that maybe need that change or the improvement.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Am I? How would you put it?
Well, I think that is where the energy of the young, I would say, energy of the young, the wisdom of the old comes into the picture.
Okay.
We, we who are much older have seen
Okay.
things, and so we get to educate the younger generation. However, with the education that we post on the younger generation, they're able to see
Okay.
more than what we see, um, because of what we teach them. And so
Wow. Okay.
they will want something different. They will want something that will fit the context of their generation and the future. And
Okay.
so there is a need to change. There is a need to progress. There is a need to reform certain perspectives of how we impose a certain policies, impose a certain what you call ideals.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing that you didn't mention is that I am a political activist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been
Yeah. That's true.
yeah,
Okay.
I and for me as a student activist at that time, I was a student in
Okay.
2014. I was doing multimedia design in a college, and I was highly involved uh, with a splinter student groups that were
Okay.
very radical in thinking. Like, if we want change, we want to change immediately.
Okay.
And of course, a lot of older generation, because the older you get, you become extremely comfortable. You just don't
Okay.
want things to change because it's tiring. Bringing change is tiring.
Yeah.
It's the moment you want to see something different, you have to start all over again. You're wasting your
Okay.
time, you're wasting your energy into it, and then what if it doesn't work? That's where all the efforts go to waste.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is why I can understand, the older generation seems to say, oh, these youngsters don't know what we've been through. These youngsters don't know what it takes to change. These youngsters don't know there are certain things at the back door. The problem
Okay.
is we do.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Other people know. I mean, you keep telling us stories. For God's sake, I
Okay.
mean, you tell us stories. I mean,
Okay.
of course we get that. It's just that whether we show it or not, there's another story. But
Okay.
with all the wisdom that has been shared, we want to make things better. Instead, so
Yeah.
so this is where I like to encourage the older generation. Instead of telling them don't, instead of
Okay.
telling them all the negativity and
Okay.
making them negative all over, why not do something to encourage them and say, if you're in the politics, if you're in some student groups, if you're in a religious body, if
Okay.
you're in a corporate sector and you've seen a lot of cruelty
Okay.
in the corporate world, do something, do something to change it. In
I
America,
see.
it happens, the way
Okay.
the kids are raised with confidence,
I see
like
what you
their
mean.
parents never stop them. But in Asia, unfortunately, whenever a kid introduces something
Wow.
new, their parents
Okay.
stop them. This is not supposed to happen.
Aha. I see. Yeah. So it sounds as if, if, I mean, I'm not exactly in the young category, but I imagine if I was a young person, you're almost telling me to be more involved. You
Mm.
describe yourself as an activist, and you're activist in the political sphere, and you're almost encouraging students to at least have an interest in it, I guess, just to know more about it, and to see that they maybe have a role to contribute in it. Is that fair enough to say?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah, I gave a talk in a college
Okay.
on activism,
Okay.
and I said to them, "What if you can do something without going through some of the existing ones? What if you start an initiative?
Okay.
Say, for instance, refugee crisis in Malaysia. A lot of refugees out there compared
Okay.
to other countries. Malaysia has a very restrictive policy on refugees.
Okay.
Refugees are not allowed to work. So how do
Okay.
they survive then? With
Yeah.
like few allowances on a monthly basis, and then they have like 5 members of the family. It's not enough. Uh, and they had to sacrifice. And so uh, I said, what if we can start an initiative to make them self-sustaining, but also ensuring that you're obeying the policies that have been imposed?
That hits close to home. I was listening to a sermon that my friend gave a couple of weeks ago, and he was mentioning this particular person. I won't mention the name, but anyone can guess who it is. Who deals with refugee crisis.
Mm.
And number one, this person is very old, very young. The
Mm.
person next to her was the picture of Mother Teresa. And so Mother Teresa, and then his illustration was closer to home. We have this person dealing with refugee crisis. Everyone in the hall knew who this person was, and everyone in the hall was much older than this person. And I was thinking, wow, there you go. I think that already was a very convicting thing to see and hear in a church, that this very much younger person is doing so much that we can even put the picture next to Mother Teresa. My following question from you is, yes, you're asking the young people, you're challenging them almost, but what's keeping them? What are the kind of discouragements do they have from actually maybe taking it to the next step or actually doing something?
I would say there are two main things, but of course there are many other layers that I'm not going to say here. But these
Okay.
are the two main things. I can speak within the Malaysian context.
Okay.
So one is capacity.
Okay.
I think it's because of the upbringing, because of the society that they live in, the circle of friends, the circle of communities that they are in, whether it's church, whether it's college, universities,
Okay.
or any other institutions out there. They tend to be limited. They think themselves as limited. Most youths out there,
Okay. All right.
they would just wonder, okay, I want to do something.
Okay.
Like for instance,
Yeah.
I want to plant more trees because of the climate change, because of the
Okay.
climate issues. But then I don't know where to get seeds. I don't know how many trees can I plant, and that requires money. That requires statistics. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then, uh, what if you don't need that? What if because most entrepreneurs out there, most activists out there start with nothing. I start with nothing. I start with social media.
Yeah.
When I spoke against policies, for instance, my biggest uh, turn into activism as a student at that time, or else I'll just enjoy my life as focusing
Okay.
entirely studying design, going to design agencies, build names for
Yeah.
myself, win awards and whatever. But then
Okay.
what struck me the most is because I realized that number one, I didn't had enough money as a student. I was a broke student. I worked part-time. I
Okay.
took up freelance work. Or else I won't have cigars. Thank God. Hard work does pay.
Okay. All right.
um, uh, Two was because I realized that great people start with nothing,
Okay.
but then they know where to start. And
I
so
see.
for me, that is where I was like, you know what? I have a laptop. I can write. I can
Okay.
speak. Why not do something? As an activist, you don't need to pick up a microphone and start a rally, like Bercier or the LCS
Okay.
rally
Because those are
global.
big things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, those are big things.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
smaller, I think, was it Pastor Bill Wilson who said that
Okay.
Big doors are at small hinges.
Okay.
And
All right. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, my small hinge was
Okay.
that, like, I write, I speak out what what's in my heart. I even had a blog
Okay.
and that time. And then my Facebook, I had like 1,000, 2,000 friends at that time, my old Facebook
Okay.
account. And then I just blasted it out, people
Hmm.
took it. And then there was an opportunity for me to actually write for several columns internationally.
Okay.
And one of them was unfortunately
Okay.
socialist in nature. And so I wrote for them. And
Hmm.
ever since then, my journey
Wow.
began.
Okay.
And that's for me. So this, and also because my family, we talk about
Okay.
people. We talk about how do we empower people? Why do we,
Hmm.
regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of social status, we see them as
Hmm.
humans. Why does it matter? And why does it matter to empower and enable a person to walk on their feet and learn how to fish?
Hmm.
And these encouragement matters so much for me, even until today. So it goes into my second point, which
Yeah.
is
Okay.
basically um, the reason why young people don't get into, are
Hmm.
seem to have like a wall that needs to break down is because lack of encouragement.
I see. Okay.
Like whatever institutions that they are at, there's always distraction. It's either distraction or it's either some random people, whether young or old, come to them and discard their ideas. Unfortunately, it
Okay.
happens in Malaysia, whereby
Yeah.
if you're in high school and said you want to be a communist,
Okay.
uh, the first thing
Okay.
the first thing your teacher is going to tell you is going to do is to put you to shame in public, and
I
that's a
see. Okay.
disappointing factor.
Do you think Christians
Mhm.
should be more involved in politics?
Yes, big yes, 100%. Please, be
Please.
involved.
You're pleading with people, please.
Yes,
Yeah.
please
Is
be
that because
involved.
people aren't involved as much as they could be, you think now?
Well, within the church, people, whether young or old, churchgoers like to talk politics, but nothing has been done. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Can you expand on that? So I get the when you say we like to talk about it on the kopitiams, on the WhatsApp, we will say a lot of things, but
Mm.
then that's it, right? That's it, right? I mean, it becomes like just yeah.
Yeah. First and foremost, I think as Malaysians, we are grateful for democracy.
Okay,
Um, in spite of it being what they call partial democracy, meaning to say that we
okay,
we are still limited in certain ways,
okay,
because of the system that we are imposed on.
okay.
But that does not mean that, democracy doesn't just end at the moment you put an X on a ballot, and then put it in the
Mm,
box once in
okay,
every 5 years. It
okay,
goes on and on. I mean, you cannot just stick in social media for, commenting on Malaysia Kini, the Star, comment sections over and over, and
I
then
see, I
bring
see.
on, you need to get involved.
Okay,
There are reasons why there are many avenues for people to get involved. So if
okay,
you're not keen to be involved in a political party, why not get involved in some splinter activist groups? Liga
okay,
Rakyat Demokratik is a
okay,
good platform. Another platform would
okay,
be Suara Anak Malaysia. Oh, sorry, Suara Rakyat Malaysia.
okay. All right.
That they're openly recruiting for people.
I
I've
see.
been saying that to many people. Just because you're a pastor, just because you're an elder of a church, or just an ordinary member, or you're like 75 years
Hmm.
old and or 19-year-old kid, it doesn't matter. If you're
Yes.
a
Yeah.
Malaysian, a Christian, uh, go for it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One great example is definitely, if we recall, December last year, Banjir, or flood. We had like a
Yes.
nationwide flood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that was the time where you see Malaysians taking their annual leave, spending their annual leaves where they're supposed to go on holiday, but instead they went down on the ground. Myself included, I took like 1 week of holiday just to help people.
Hey, thanks. You did. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you saw so much. You didn't just see things on the news. You actually were there.
Yeah. And that was, I would say, let's not stop there.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
keep going. Whenever we see somebody in need, let's do something. Not just giving money, not just soliciting funds, but making use of the funds, making use of whatever capacity that we have, whether big or small as mustard seed.
Okay.
Going back to what Jesus mentioned, as small as a mustard seed, you can definitely move mountains. Imagine the impact, just helping people on flood. It means a lot. I went to.
I mean, it was quite encouraging, right? That was so good. Yeah. Sorry, you're about to say you're going to somewhere.
Yeah. So I went to this village, an urban village. All I did was just helping this one house, and then some houses came about and just witnessed what we're doing. I was with a group of friends, just cleaning up things in the house, and looking at their faces and how relieved they were. We're just cleaning things up, by the way. We didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely gave some things to the people. Like I think I recall I brought a pack of rice, a few canned foods, some necessary kitchen items for them. Like and in fact there were friends who noticed what I've been doing at that time. They donated some money for me to buy these things. So I bought these things, gave it to the villagers. And then immediately I went to this one house because they needed help the most. I was looking at them cleaning things up, and I said, you need help? And I said, yeah, definitely. And then we went in, cleaning sofa, cleaning kitchen items, cleaning things in here and there.
Just cleaning stuff. Okay, just doing
just cleaning stuff. And then looking at their response, and they constantly thanking us over and over. And they said, we don't know how are we to survive without having people like you coming over to just do something. We don't even know. To them, it's like, you guys are like God's gift. That's what he said. You guys are like God's gift.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, thank you for giving hope. And I was like, not a big deal, and not a big deal. We're just helping. You're Malaysians regardless.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thankfully, there's no banjir now. Maybe there is some form of economic banjir, maybe. But I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. But I guess it's worth just being prepared. It can happen. The truth is, like, a flood can happen again. And I think you don't want things to get so bad before you do a lot of good. And I think these things ought to be lessons, not just in the moment, but actually something that can spur us. I mean, you see Malaysians are capable of so much good. They're able to pull together. They're actually able to work together. I find that's quite amazing. And the reward of that isn't just that you fix a problem, but actually you realize that actually the solution is not just a policy. It's not a big thing. It's actually people coming together, working together, recognizing the problem together, and working towards a solution together. Yeah. Okay. Any last words? Any last things that you want to say? It's good stuff.
I'm not gonna say much on this. So I would say the secret is start small, do small things. Trust me, you're gonna see big fruits. So say for instance, we go out on the, if you look at the train stations, I recall, whenever I got back from work, I take the train and I always see this uncle selling muruku, and he's on a wheelchair. I would buy muruku for two reasons. One,
okay, all right, okay.
One, because I want to help that uncle, and so I would give a big amount of money. Two, I need snacks.
Okay, okay. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Like for instance, if we see somebody selling tissues, we all need tissues. I mean, we all sweat under this hot weather. So, one, we need tissue. Two, we want to help. So why not? Make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, what you're talking about, that small difference goes a long way.
Mm.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. That's cool. Thanks you so much. Yeah, and thanks for being a guest on this Kopi Chat podcast, the first of hopefully not the last. Ezra Miller, like Ezra Jalin. No, cannot down different. There is someone else. Okay, Ezra Jalin, thank you so much for joining me. And we really appreciate that so much. Okay, and thanks for listening as well. Take care, guys. There's more to come. Please stick around for the next episode. More friends, common friends as well. You saw the chat, right? A few other people coming on board as well, and just more perspectives on what it means to live in Malaysia. To be Malaysians and to really live lives that will really improve. Bring Malaysia to the next level. Yeah. Take care. Bye.